Driving all of this change are what I'm going to call empowered consumers. And we have gone through quite a transition in the last century. We went from the manufacturing age to distribution to information, and we are now firmly ensconced in the age of the customer. And I saw during the panel that there was a graphic, I'll call it a donut, although I don't know what to call it, where you had your client in the center. That's what we're talking about. We are now living in a world where the customer, client, whatever you want to call them, is in the middle of everything. So we've gone from a time of transactions to relationships to transactions, and now back to relationships. And we're going to talk a lot more about that. We also have this on-demand lifestyle that is brought on by our mobile devices, right? Without the mobile device, we used to have to use something called a telephone. Any of you heard of it? Used to be this thing that used to be tied to the kitchen. Anyway, and so now we have the ability to actually get what I want, when I want, where I want it. That never existed before. And I'm not just obviously talking about a pizza, because that's always been available. But you can get everything from a massage, to a doctor, to a private jet, to having your hair and makeup done, to ordering groceries, on and on. I have a cousin in LA who is kind of a Hollywood guy, and on his fridge are 48 of these little Amazon things that he just presses, and when he's out of anything, it shows up the next day at his house. So literally, every single thing that you can think of is being thought about in Silicon Valley, and everyone is trying to disrupt everything so that convenience becomes more and more important. We have the dreaded age of the selfie. Every single thing is now social. And some people blame this on millennials. Can I have the Facebook people show up, stand up again, please, just so we can know who to blame? Come on. Thank you. Sorry, can I get you, seriously, guys, to stand up? How many of you are, come on, don't be shy. How many of you are on, so just raise your hand. How many of you are also on Instagram? All of you? Oh, you're not. Okay, we have a rebel in the middle. Snapchat? You're not? Just Twitter. Twitter? Okay. Anything else? WhatsApp? What else are you on? Snapchat? Yeah, we said that. Anything else? So if these guys aren't busy delivering or working, now you know why. Because they're on every other social network possible. And what happens today is that we look to strangers for information. How many of you use Yelp? TripAdvisor? So have you ever thought about this idea? You want to go to a restaurant or you want to choose a hotel, and you're going online to ask complete strangers who can't spell or write quite often where to spend your money. That's pretty crazy, right? But this idea of crowdsourcing information is something that's only going to continue. And if you're saying, why is she talking about this? Because this has nothing to do with my business, think again. Social is now part of our fabric, and whether you like it or not. How many people are not on Facebook? Not. Wow. Why not? I assume that Mark Zuckerberg is not a Merrill Lynch client, right? Because it's stupid, okay? Excellent. Thank you. I'm sure he would like to hear that. And why are you on Facebook? Because obviously you don't think it's stupid. Why? Anybody? Connections. Connects you to the world. So for those of you who aren't on Facebook because you think it's stupid, 1.2 billion people disagree with you, first of all, and I would suggest that even if you just want to be a lurker, and even if you think it's stupid, you might want to engage because the platforms are solidifying, they're getting smaller, and when you talk about simplification, if you're going to do anything online, you should do it on Facebook because that's where the world is starting to convene. So we live in a very crazy world where it used to be all about assets, and now it's all about connections and networks. So I used to be in the hotel business, like I said. I started here at Four Seasons. And in the hotel business, we used to worry about things like providing great amenities, making the rooms beautiful. But you know what the reality is? The reality is that what we really want is a good night's sleep. I did not get one last night, by the way, because the guy next door was snoring like crazy, and I heard him as if he was in my own bed, so that did not work for me. But beyond that, yeah, it's okay. Who was that? Is somebody here in 1839 at the Pinnacle Hotel? Anyway, just to let you know that what I really wanted last night was either earplugs or a breathe right strip that I could have just shoved under the door to help him out. So what consumers and empowered consumers really want is pretty simple. Give me a good night's sleep and give me Wi-Fi, please, and make it free. Am I right? And the reason that Airbnb, and how many of you have stayed in an Airbnb? Quite a few. Good experience? Anyone have a bad experience? The reason that Airbnb has done so well is that A, they have Wi-Fi, B, they are providing something else to these empowered consumers. What they are providing are personalized experiences. These are just a few of the Airbnb locations that you can rent out. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in a treehouse. I don't want an igloo. That place on the top left has my name on it. Anybody wants to share, I think it's 5 bedrooms, so I'd like to go in the summer. If anybody wants to go, let me know. But what's amazing about Airbnb is it really exemplifies what's called the sharing economy, where there's a benefit on both sides. People can rent out a room or their entire house and make money from that to somebody else who wants it. So this is fascinating because Airbnb, in just a few short years, has a market valuation that's higher than Hilton and Marriott. Let me repeat. Airbnb owns no real estate. All they do is act as the middleman, and they are worth more than Marriott or Hilton. That is pretty crazy stuff. So the beer industry, which I was in, and you might be thinking, why is she talking to us a United Way about the beer industry? Everyone in this room has more in common with what has happened in the beer industry than you may think. Let me explain. For the longest time, there were 3 big brewers in the United States. And to those Canadians who are in the room, yes, I know about Labatt's and Molson's. I'm good. But let's talk about the US, where the beer market is extremely regulated. So in the United States, there was Budweiser, Miller, and Coors. And that's all there was for many, many years. Sure, there was Corona and others. And the big brewers thought it was always, always going to be like that. But guess what happened? Sorry, millennials, you happened. And what happened is that these millennials, which we now know are real, by the way, since they're actually in the room, these millennials want local, they want authentic, they want to meet the brewer or the farmer or the maker. They don't want to, unless they have to, buy from big impersonal corporations. What they really want to do is look someone in the eye. They're looking for that two-way connection. And that changed everything. So in 2009, I released a feature-length documentary called Beer Wars, which was about capitalism and free enterprise in America. At that time, so that was what, 7 years ago, there were 1,400 breweries in America. Today, there are over 4,000. What happened? Well, turns out millennials don't want to drink their daddy's Bud anymore. They want flavor. They want something different. And so what has happened to these big brewers? They are merging like crazy. I don't know if we have people here, I'm assuming from Milwaukee and St. Louis and Denver. What is going on? These companies are consolidating like crazy, trying to fight these 4,000 little guys that are running around that are getting bigger while they're getting smaller. So again, the world is changing quickly.